You know what's really important when you come home from doing a long stretch or even a minor stretch is that you have the right mindset. And what that means is kind of vague. You need the right mindset. Well, what's the right mindset? Well, to put it simply, you cannot be on the same street mentality that you had probably up until this moment. Um, Prison can have one or two effects on people. Either they learn they can be better criminals, or they learn they don't want to be criminals. If you want to be a better criminal, then chances are you're going to end up back in prison because there's nothing new under the sun. Anything you think of, any way you think of being a better criminal, if I would have just did this, I got away with it. Somebody else thought of that. So that shows that you have not matured in your thinking and you're not ready to do something different, which really means you're not ready for this channel because this channel is not about that. So once you have decided that you want to do something different, if you don't have a starting point, you don't really understand how to do something different. You've been thinking this way for so long. How do I think something different? How do I perceive shit in a different way? And that's hard. Anybody that tell you that's not hard is lying. It's very hard. So what you have to do is be honest with yourself and look at things without emotion, look at things without some kind of preconceived thought or what you've been taught, and actually analyze a lot of the things that you've been doing and thinking and the way you've been thinking and finding the holes in that logic. Because even if you want something to be true, it's not true. A fact is a fact. So you have to abandon a lot of that mentality. One of the things that you have to abandon that's been beat into you is the code, the street codes. The street codes are nonsense. Why are they nonsense? Because they're based on an oxymoron. They're based on, I'm a fucked up nigga, but I'm going to depend on every other fucked up nigga to not be this kind of fucked up. That's really stupid thinking. The flaw in that logic is obvious. It's I'll put it to you this way. If a person is a selfish person, and we all know selfish people, some of us have been selfish people. If a person is a selfish person, that person already has a code of selfishness, meaning I'm going to look out for me in every situation that I think looking out for me is appropriate. They factored that into the street code because that's their personal code. So that might cancel out the street code off rip. So now you have people that have the mindset of, if we get in a shootout, I'm going to make sure that everybody in the shootout with me is okay because that's what the code of the street told me to do. But that selfish niggas mentality says, I'm going to make sure that I'm okay, and I'm going to assume that those other niggas are going to make sure that they are okay because selfishness believes that everyone is selfish. So you have two different people that if you look at that, I'm looking out for me, and my other niggas who believe that they're supposed to look out for me are looking out for me. So that tilts the scale one way, where if you look at them, if they're looking out for me and I'm looking out for me, nobody's looking out for them. So literally speaking, have you been on this side or that side? You may not know what side you were on. And if you're sitting back and you're honest with yourself after I just said that, you really realize what side you were on. And you probably feel a little bit stupid for being one of those people who followed that street code. The problem with the street code is that it's built on principles like honor and integrity. And at the same time, it's built on capitalize on stupid people's honor and stupid people's integrity. So when you decide that you want to do something better in your life, you have to abandon that street code on all levels. Everything you talk, like Master Yoda said, and it's true, you have to unlearn what you learned because what you learned is wrong. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. You've been loyal to the streets. Good for you. But where has it gotten you? One friend dead, two friends dead, three friends dead. 2 years locked up, 3 years locked up, 7 years locked up, 10 years locked up, 20 years locked up. I know a dude that's up top right now, and he did 35 years in prison. I'm going to talk about him on his channel. I'm not going to say his name. I'm going to be honest. I don't want that kind of static. But me and this dude were cool. And I don't want to put too much of his name and his business out there. If you figure it out, you figure it out. But this dude went into prison in his early 20s and did 35 years because he committed a series of murders. Okay? 35 years. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times 5. So when this man came home after going to prison in his early 20s, he was in his mid-50s. Now, what did he do when he came home, or what do they say he did allegedly? They allegedly say he committed another murder. And they sentenced him this time to life without the possibility of parole. So now think about this. Let's say he went into prison when he was 22. He came home for 1 year and caught a new body. That means of his entire life, 23 years, was he a free man. Let's say up until 13, he was a kid. So that means he's had 10 years as a semi-adult of freedom in his whole life. His whole life. From following the street code. Think about that. Because a lot of y'all niggas is on that same path, especially my younger brothers. Because if you really think about it, add up all the years that the state took from you. Let's say you're 25 now. But you started getting in trouble as a juvenile. So you spent maybe 2 or 3 years growing in a cottage. That's 3 years that the state took from you, that you gave the state. And then you were 18 when you caught your first real bid. You did, let's say, 2. That's 5 years that the state took from you. Then you caught another bid. This one's bigger, 4 years. Think about that. That's 11 years. Well, no, yeah, that's 11 years. 9 years, 9 years that the state took from you. So 9 from what? 27. Look how much that is. That's 1/3 of your life. So abandon these street codes because really, and I'm going to break them down on this channel, most of them are stupid. Most of them are completely stupid and illogical. Completely stupid. Because they also carry over into jail, where jails operate on the street codes. And if you really see how false the street codes are in jail, and in addition, you see how much the people telling you that you must follow these codes don't really follow these codes when you're locked up. They don't. They say they do, and they do when it's convenient. But prison necessitates selfishness. So, of course, the street code is not going to really matter. But you must abandon your street codes. You must. If you don't, you will repeat the exact same things, the exact same mistakes, and end up in the exact same place you do not want to be. By the time you in your bed, you do not want to be in your bed anymore. You took your mind off that, of course, at the beginning of your bid because you had so much time. You said, I'm not going to stress it. I'm not going to think about it. But by the time you end your bid, you do not want to turn around and go right back in there, mother. Do you? Keep that energy because that energy will motivate you to not fall back into what you used to do. Real talk. Like, comment, and subscribe. More coming.